Distinguished clients and supervisors, good afternoon. Thank you for attending this presentation. It's an honor to have this opportunity to present the overall project of 48.1 in the second semester of 2022. Before we start, we would like to show our thanks with sincere to our tutor Ali. It's with his valuable assistance that we have exceeded our expectations in achieving objectives. Next, please allow me briefly introduce my members of the whole team. Our team group leader is Ma Yuxiang, and I am Li Ge. The other four members are Qian Xuran, Zhao Yutong, Song Zhixuan, and Tan Tian. Our research problem is aimed at using VAE in combination with LSTM to create a complete model landing from 0 to 1 for the prediction of picture frames. So about the motivation, we expect the model can improve video quality, view missing information, and help to make some decision. For example, in here, a decision-making system of car radar would make the car avoid the collision by predict the next frame. Let's take a look on our objectives. This project discards two main existing models, the deep learning stakes convolution 2D layer and flow package prediction of computer vision, focusing on the purpose on this page as a basis for expanding the implementation of the project features. We have achieved a realistic and optimal structure, and it is very worthwhile to note that the model is really able to include all types of data for prediction and complementary frames. Finally, produce high-quality results than other models.
We read some recent related literature where they use an approach for pixel-level future prediction, given an input image of a scene. They understand things in terms of entities that can move and interact. For example, in the picture on the right, blocks are separate objects that move. The human body's motion can similarly be understood in terms of the correlated movement of the limbs. Instead of directly predicting future frames, learns to predict the future locations and appearance of the entities in the scene, and through this makes up a prediction of the future frame. The modeling of appearance and the learned composition allows this method to leverage the benefits of independent per entity representations while allowing for reasoning in pose changes or overlap in pixel space. The advantage of that method is that it utilizes entity decomposition to enable video prediction. The model learns different types of dynamics for different sports, but they do have some limitations, which rely on supervision of the entity locations either from human or automatic annotations. Additionally, image synthesis quality needed to be improved, and this could be explored in conjunction with GANs. Moreover, there is insufficient evidence to evaluate the diversity and the accuracy of prediction due to the multimodal nature of the task. But our research intends to solve the task of video prediction in a more general setting, and it will be an improvement of the related work.
Based on our research question and aims, this VAE-LSTM model is proposed to predict video frames. First, we input a group of consecutive frames into the encoder, which is used to encode the image into the latent space and extract the image features. Then the extracted feature sequence is input into the LSTM for prediction. Finally, the decoder deconvolution is used to form the output image of the original image size. Now let's have a look at the framework of our VAE. Here, the sizes on top of each layer indicate the size of the output picture. The encoder network consists of 8 consistent layers, 3 kernels, and 1 fully connected layer with dropout method. In each layer, there's 1 convolution layer and 1 batch normalization layer. The decoder is also made up of 8 layers, but to decode the images. And the last layer contains a sigmoid function to introduce nonlinearity. In our model, the loss function considered includes the MSE, smooth L1 loss, and the cross-entropy loss. In this context, the MSE measures the reconstruction loss of the label frame and the prediction generated by the decoder. Secondly, the smooth L1 loss is a smooth version of the L1 loss, which refers to the average of the absolute difference between the predicted image and the true label frame. The last one, cross-entropy loss, is used to quantify the difference between two probability distributions. The value of the total loss represents how far apart the forecast is from the true prediction. As for the optimizers, we tried SGD and Adam. The SGD algorithm immediately calculates the cost function gradient to update the parameters every time it reads the data. Moreover, the Adam optimizer is another way to calculate the adaptive learning rate for each parameter. This algorithm is a SGD extension, and the parameter tuning process is relatively simple. Finally, for the matrix, we considered BRISC, MSE, and SSIM. The BRISC is an algorithm that calculates the image quality, and SSIM is used to measure the similarity of two pictures. The parameters employed eventually will be covered in the rest part of this presentation.
For the data collection, our data process can be split into 6 parts. First is the video collection. All video datasets are collected based on the research motivation and are publicly available. Then step 2 is to intercept the photos at a specific interval through the code. In order to put the frame images into the model, the third step is to adjust the size of the original images in the required frame. Then the TST of each image's preservation path is extracted in the fourth step, which is convenient for subsequent images reading when the model runs. The next step is to divide each dataset into many groups, including training group for training model and test group for performance evaluation. The last step is to put the images into the model. For data analysis, according to different research proposals, the size and the length of the 5 video datasets are different. As it can be seen on the left-hand side, for example, the purpose of the cloud dataset is to help predict the local weather. So we choose a long observation time of 5 minutes to help the model better predict the subtle change of the cloud. Restaurant video selection is to help security detection by judging the movement of people or objects. Therefore, 60 seconds are selected. For the video of the roller coaster, it is necessary to observe whether the faster speed will affect the prediction of the picture. So the training set needs a relatively large number, and the final choice is 3 minutes. As we can see in the right-hand side bar chart, it shows the number of images we use in each dataset. As the time length of the original video is different, the number of images in each dataset are different. The most one is the cloud, and the lowest one is the traffic accidents.
Before the final model will be trained properly, the relevant hyperparameters should be determined first based on different validation results according to the class sets. During the experiment, 3 loss functions were tested within the default learning rate and epochs. The leftmost pictures shows the original label, and the rest are prediction results. The cross-entropy loss and stochastic gradient descent optimizer are excluded first, since the low quality of their output. By distinguishing the results between using smooth L1 loss and MSE loss, the 2 images perform similarly in pixel level. However, smooth L1 loss could cause random pixels scattered in the output, therefore lead to the occurrence of noise, which can be seen in the middle of the chart. So we decided to use the Adam plus MSE as our model setup parameters. The last parameters that need to be turned is the learning rate, which includes 0.01, 0.001, and 1e-5. Since the rational autoencoders requires a small learning rate to maximize its ability of feature extraction, the graph records the MSE loss from 150 to 200 epochs. Based on the observation, the learning rates of both 0.01 and 0.001 have a steady loss in the last 50 epochs of around 0.04, but our selected loss with the lowest learning rate keeps steeply downgrading based on graph to even lower than 0.01. The below table also displays the training cost during each dataset, with the average training time around 160 minutes. The following images are model output based on the set parameters in different things. Among all the evaluation metrics, the prediction in the traffic accident scene on the bottom right shows the best performance with the lowest MSE score and the highest structural similarity score of 0.9. The rest predictions have a similar MSE score around 7.5 and also 0.75 in structural similarity. It is intriguing that the orbit of the roller coaster is well displayed. However, the surrounding environment with trees and wood would not be able to project in high resolutions. The results might due to the pixel disorder of the original image set.
So having told the part about the results, we would like to elaborate on some interesting discussions. At the beginning of the model, we will assume some questions about the type of data or the success of some specific experiments objectives. And after the experiment has started, we may be faced with finding ways to avoid, for example, manual errors in the data processing among thousands of images, and how to adjust the parameters and how to select indicators to evaluate the results. The creation and solution of these problems is in fact a mapping of very complete growth process of our project. And I will focus on describing one of the strengths of the overall model on this page. It is mentioned that the model architecture of this project is in fact a completely new model. It incorporates many open source packages from different files, and the model is highly adapted to different scenarios of data. However, at the same time, there are certain limitations. For example, if there are many elements and colors of the image are too dark, the prediction results will not be as expected. And for complex structure images such as face images, the predicting results are also somewhat different for us. We hope that we will have the opportunity to focus on this area and continue to explore it in the future. So at the end of the presentation, we have actually gained a lot, whether it was a growth in our ability to learn over a few months and exceed expectations, or the genuine friendship between all of us members and the encouragement from our tutor. We really want to say thank you so much for watching.